Hey everyone, welcome back to Founder Insight. Today I'm joined by Catarina from Yngvik, a startup tackling plastic pollution with a unique approach turning food waste into home compostable plastic. Their work represents a critical step in addressing two significant environmental challenges, reducing plastic waste and repurposing food waste. Though they're not yet in the market, their progress in prototype development is very promising, as well as market indicators confirming the need for such solution. Katerina, are you ready to share some more insights with us?
Hi. Yes, of course. I would like to share insights on our startup. So, as you already said, we're making home compostable plastic using food waste. And so the idea is that it actually composts when you accidentally drop it in nature. So it also disintegrates in water because current compostable plastics are usually only composting in an industrial environment. So you need high temperatures. And in the Nordics, if you drop the plastic, it will never compost. It just stays there.
That's
And
that's pretty cool. Yeah, I've heard that there are a lot of definitions of composing, and I thought that home composing means in a very unsupervised environment, right?
yeah.
Let's go back at the beginning. Can you give me a bit of your story about your background and maybe some of your co-founders' backgrounds?
Yeah, we're a team of three. We met at the Open Innovation Circularity Challenge from the KU, DTU, and CBS. And we are pretty diverse, so we would have never met if it wasn't for that challenge. We have one biochemist on board from KU. We have me. I'm currently studying electrical engineering, but I also have a mass management and marketing degree, so I stepped up as CEO. And we have an industrial engineer who's in charge of finances and supply chain. Yeah, we started a year ago from now, and we participated at DTU programs like the Ignite program, for example, and managed to actually already build a prototype. We have a foil and adhesive, and now we're currently looking for companies to start a pilot project.
That's pretty cool. That sounds like a very solid team and also great progress in just a year. Do you have any specific market insights that when you found them out, you were like, oh, this makes sense. This idea seems like it's interesting.
Yeah. Well, we started with ecological concerns, so that's how we started with the idea of using those two different wastes and trying to make something good out of it: the food waste and the plastic waste. And then we did market research. We participated in plastic fairs and talked to plastic converters. And for them, the most pressing issue is actually all the EU regulations that are coming in the next few years, who are trying to ban plastic from the market.
So I see that, I mean, plastic is not new, right? We've had it for a while. Can you take me through how the old process looks like and what you're doing differently? So what is your solution improving and in what way?
Of course. So the current plastics, when we're talking about plastics, that's usually petroleum based. So it's a finite resource of oil, and it is not compostable. It stays in our environment for hundreds of years. There are, of course, already some bioplastic alternatives, and they're usually made out of crops like sugar canes, for example. So they are farmed in huge monocultures, usually in Southeast Asia. So they're also taking away land that is originally used for food production. And of course, they're cutting down rainforests to make those big farms. So that's how we came up with the solution that we actually use food waste, where there is a lot in our current society. We're not only talking about the food waste that a single individual produces, it's also the food waste from industries that are leftovers. So currently we're talking to breweries and juice producers, for example. And we're taking this food waste and making a plastic that actually composts in nature. So that's our completely new setup.
Can you talk me a bit through the process of the prototype? Where are you at? How far have you come? What's the biggest traction that you've achieved so far?
Our prototype, as I said earlier, we have a foil and an adhesive. So the foil, what we managed to do is to actually produce prototypes in a A4 sheet size, a paper sheet size. And the properties are actually like the foil you use in the household at the moment, the plastic foil. So it's very flexible, it stays flexible for hours. And the adhesive is like glue-like, but you can rip it apart again. So we did tests with weights up to 50 kilograms. So it holds up to 50 kilograms, but if you turn it apart, you can still separate the two items. For example, like it's used for Post-its at the moment.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
What about on the business side? How are things going there? Do you already have some customers? Are you talking to some? What's your plan to acquire the first 20 customers?
Yeah, so we're B2B. We're not making the plastic foil ourselves. In the end, we're just selling our polymer. So basically, we're even like B2B to B2C, because there are plastic converters who are taking our polymers and turning it into the foils. And then they sell it to other companies who actually wrap their product in those plastics. And we have some leads. It's a hard industry to get into because there are so much in the background. You really have to go through the customers to find out who actually in the end produced their one plastic sheet. But we do have some leads. We're currently talking to them, and we're hoping to start a pilot project in the Q1 of next year.
So year's coming to an end. Could you talk me to your plan for 2024?
Yeah. So we're currently, as I said, we're looking for a pilot project. So we want to start a pilot project next year. We are also founding officially. So far, we been just a student startup. So in January, we're officially founding our startup. We are participating in some other accelerator programs. And from that, we want to start a small scale up from our production. We're currently still at DTU scale up, so we are thinking about moving into a bigger facilities in the end of next year. Yeah.
You mentioned you're still a student startup, and that you're 3 co-founders, right?
Yes.
How is commitment of those founders? Are you on it part-time, full-time, about to go full-time?
So 2 of us just graduated last month in the end of November. So they are about to start full-time. And I'm the only one who's still working on her master thesis. So once I'm done with that, I'm also completely in full-time.
Very nice. Okay, that sounds very cool. Are you also looking to raise some money in 2024 to accelerate the growth, or
yes,
what's your plan on that? Yeah.
Yes, we are currently already talking to some investors. Now we're talking to VCs, but we also are looking for business angels. That would be actually also pretty nice. We apply for the InnoFounder. Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay, and imagine that you wake up tomorrow with 5 million Danish crowns in your bank account. What would be the first thing that you would do?
We would invest it, of course, most of that in our prototyping, because we still want to improve, of course, what we have. And apart from that, we would stock up also our sales department a little bit, maybe get actually some student help in all those areas, because right now we're only working with students in terms of master thesis and student projects, but of course we would like to keep the people who are doing a good job and starting to paying them a small salary. So
makes sense. You mentioned that you want to emphasize on sales and that you still want to do some prototype development. How far away is prototype from MVP? Meaning that how long do you need to be able to sell it?
So we're planning the entire next year on doing the pilot projects and improving so that we can actually enter the market in the beginning of 25.
That's a good plan. All right. I think this is about all that I had from the questions. Just to wrap it up, I think you're a very cool startup tackling 2 very pressing issues, and I want to wish you all the best in 2024 with your new hires, moving to bigger offices, and of course the raise.
Thank you.